Good morning, everyone. In last class, I discussed the parts of sentence on phrasal structure. In previous class, I completed two parts, simple and compound. And now I am going to discuss the third part of sentence on phrasal structure, that is complex sentence. The definition of complex sentence is that a particular sentence which contains a principal clause and a subordinate clause, that is called complex sentence. Means complex sentence contains a principal clause and a subordinate clause. These are the examples. Suppose he is the boy who lost his bag. Unless work hard, you will fail. Both are the example of complex sentence. But how can we know that this is an example of complex sentence? We have to analyze it. If we analyze the first part, first example, he is a boy who lost his bag. There are two clauses. One is principal clause and other is subordinate clause. And principal clause, what is principal clause? Principal clause is that clause which is independent, which does not depend on other clause to indicate its meaning. On the other hand, subordinate clause is depend on principal clause to signify its meaning. He is the boy. This part is independent. This part is independent. So it is a part. It part is an example of principal clause. On the other hand, who lost his bag? This part is subordinate clause because to indicate this part's meaning, it has to depend up to this part. He is the boy. Second example, unless work hard, you will fail. It also contains two clauses, one principal clause and other subordinate clauses. If we find out what is this part will be principal clauses, you will fail. This part is independent because it indicates its meaning by itself. On the other hand, unless work hard, that part is depend upon other part. So it is a part of this part is an example of subordinate clause. If we take some other example, this is the man who came here yesterday wanted my help. Here we will get two subordinate clause and one principal clause. What is the principal clause here? This is the man. This is the man. This is independent part, so it is a principal clause part. On the other hand, who came here? That part is depend upon the principal part of clause and wanted my help. This part also depend on this part to indicate its meaning. So this is the man. This part is principal clause. Who came here yesterday? Subordinate clause. Wanted my help. That part is also subordinate clause. Now I already told you that a principal clause contain a complex sentence contain a principal clause and a subordinate clause. Now what is principal clause? I already discussed that it is independent and subordinate clauses depend on principal clause. And despite in spite of this particular two parts of clauses, there is another clauses which is called coordinate clause. Coordinate clause is also like a principal clause. It is also independent, but we get it on compound sentence. But two clauses, other two clauses which we discussed, principal clause and subordinate clause, we always both get in complex sentence. But clause and phrases, both are the small part of sentence. But now I am going to give some hints about these differences. And phrases is that part which is subjectless, and which does not contain any feeling verb. It implies, if we discuss the definition of phrases, we will get that a phrase is that part of sentence which does not have any subject and any finite verb. Suppose, if we take this example, please bring me a glass of water. Please bring me a glass of water. Here, a glass of water, this part is phrases. On the other example, the elephant is an animal of great intelligence. The elephant is an animal of great intelligence. Yeah, here of great intelligence, this part is of great intelligence. This part is an example of clauses. Now I discussed the complex sentence, about its definition, about some examples, and along with the parts of clauses and phrases. About clauses, we also have to discuss some other parts about, because subordinate clauses again subdivided into some other parts. Suppose subordinate noun clause, subordinate verb clause, and subordinate adjective clause. So we will discuss in later parts. Along with the phrases, both part is a very important part. Okay, to identify properly, you have to know it very with its roots first, because sometimes we have to face some difficulties if we don't know its definition about the structure. Then it will have, sometimes we have to face some difficulties. So we will discuss in my next video. Thank you.